Welcome to the 2016 Mexican Grand Prix preview. Now, Mexico is round 19 of the 2016 Formula One World Championship, and it is ran at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez Formula One circuit, which first held its Grand Prix in 1963 in Mexico for the Mexican Grand Prix. It took a massive gap in the Formula One calendar, but then re-emerged last year with the 2015 Mexican Grand Prix, and the race winner at that time was Nico Rosberg, obviously the man in second place, who had fell foul to obviously Lewis Hamilton, who lifted the championship at the race before that, at the 2015 US Grand Prix, where he claimed his third world championship. But Nico, as many of you will know, this is the race this time last year is where he started his amazing 7-in-a-row wins. Obviously, it started in Mexico, Brazil and Abu Dhabi was won in 2015, and then the first 4 races of this season meant that he won 7 in a row, and then obviously matched the legendary Michael Schumacher's record of 7 in a row that he set when he was driving for Ferrari in Formula One, which is absolutely amazing. And obviously it was halted after what happened in Spain when, can you remember that far back? I don't know if I can, but we'll get into that in a while. Obviously we'll get on to Mercedes as well in a while in this preview. It is an amazing circuit. It's purposely built for Formula One, an amazing run down into Turn 1. It's one of the longest runs down into Turn 1, obviously alongside Russia and alongside Spain, which obviously is its predecessors in terms of the long run down into Turn 1. It's almost half a kilometre, absolutely amazing, especially into that tight first corner, which, can we see problems? It's looking like we are going to as well. One of the amazing parts of this circuit is obviously the bit which runs into Sector 3, which is the chicane. But what around it is amazing. It gives the fans an amazing spectacle of the Formula One race, and that is the building, which is the Mexican baseball stadium that is built within the Formula One track. It's absolutely unbelievable. A full, almost 360 view for the Mexican fans to get behind Formula One. Unbelievable. A high stretch and a low stretch. And yeah, I mean, the enjoyment of this is unbelievable. It was so great that they even had the podium in the baseball stadium, and not even on the main straight. So obviously, if you bought a grandstand ticket, JT, for the International Pit Straight, I guess that's what you might call it. If you buy one and then you go, well, come on, where's the podium? What's happening? Yeah. What's around there? What's it doing around there? I want to see it. I want to see, because obviously, yeah, a lot of the races that we know, I mean, obviously, I think almost all of them, apart from, say, Monaco, is done, obviously opposite the pit straight, obviously the big grandstand. So obviously getting a bit waylaid, but yeah, I mean, that's absolutely unbelievable. I love that baseball section. That is one of the best things. If we could design every single thing, obviously, I said I love Marcus and Beckett's at the United States Grand Prix, but I love the baseball stadium section. It is unbelievable. But again, we'll get into that in a while. The Mexican Grand Prix is also very special for 2 drivers on the grid. Obviously, we have Haas driver Esteban Gutierrez, who obviously wasn't here last year, which is absolutely great for him. What can he do? And obviously, because it's Haas, it's first time there in Mexico, and it's Esteban, he's back, he's in Mexico, racing in front of the Mexican crowd for the first time, which is unbelievable for him. But even more special for the other man, the Force India driver of Sergio Perez, in the prime of his life. He knows that he's getting a new teammate next year. He's going to be number 1 driver, and he's going to be the lead driver at that team. He's got the backing, he's got the sponsorships. He must be loving life. But again, we'll get into Sergio Perez in a while. But the team, or the 2 drivers even, that we're going to start off with is, obviously, Mercedes. Obviously, we all know that they won the Constructors. That was in Japan. That's old news. That is old news. That's almost talking about Sebastian Vettel being world champion. That's just old news. I mean, come on. It's almost like Sebastian Vettel's last win in Formula 1. That's old news. Wow, but obviously, very, very old. But anyway, the 2 drivers, obviously, Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. So we head into the United States Grand Prix. Nico Rosberg has a 33-point lead on Lewis Hamilton. That all changes with the winner, obviously Hammer Time, winning in America and making it 5 wins in the United States, matching Michael Schumacher's record. Nico Rosberg still leads the title, but it's getting very nail-biting, isn't it?
It is indeed, and to be fair, last weekend's Grand Prix was just like another more fuel into the fire, as we always say, in this championship fight. Obviously, as well, Hamilton actually got a good start, and he was away. He obviously won the race. Nico Rosberg came home in second place. He had a bit of a tricky race towards the start, but Nico Rosberg recovered, and it was absolutely excellent. So, as we all know now, the Constructors, wipe your hands with it. That's history. That's done. It's all about the Drivers' Championship. Now, I'm going to throw this straight in for all you Hamilton fans out there. This weekend Nico Rosberg could become Formula 1 World Champion for 2016, claiming his first world title and also join an elite group of father and sons who have competed in Formula 1 and actually have won world championships. Now, the only way Rosberg can win the championship is if he wins the race, obviously, and Hamilton either retires or fails to finish in the points, which, judging by this season, it's possible. Like on the Hamilton side of things, not necessarily on the Rosberg side of things. The only time he's actually retired this season was the incident in Spain. So, you know, reliability for Rosberg, it's there. Hamilton has had problems at the start of the season. Obviously, engine problems, electrical problems at the start, allowing Rosberg, you know, to win the first 4 races. Then in the midfield of the season, he got it all together. Obviously, July dominated July, absolutely tremendous. Then towards the end now, it's more Rosberg as well. Obviously, Daniel Ricciardo winning a race in there in Malaysia as well. So Rosberg could become Formula 1 World Champion this weekend. And in my opinion, I hope this is the case because I am a Hamilton fan. I'm not really a Hamilton fan anymore. I'm just gunning for Hamilton because I'm British. Yeah. But I do want Rosberg to win because, you know, he's done so much in Formula 1, especially since joining Mercedes in their dominant years as well. And he'll be able to get one over Lewis Hamilton, where he's been right behind this guy 2 years in a row. Now, could this be it? Could this finally be justice for Rosberg? And if he doesn't win, if he manages to lose this championship, then what's going to happen to Rosberg? There's not going to be any more opportunities. He's got one hand on this trophy. If he wants to get the second hand on this trophy, he's got to carefully excavate it all the way through the obstacles to try and touch it as well. It's in touch and distance for Nico Rosberg. He just has to be focused and to be able to win the next few races. Or maybe actually, even if he finishes second and Hamilton wins the races, he still becomes world champion. So it's in Rosberg's favour. He can't lose it now, LC. I mean, so Nico Rosberg could become Formula 1 world champion for the first time this weekend. What do you think, Wolf? Do you think he will, or maybe do you think that the nerves will actually get to him and maybe bottle it all?
I think obviously what he's hoping for is for Lewis's retirement, for an engine blowout, and Malaysia. He's hoping for a Malaysia. That's what he's hoping for. He's hoping for a Malaysia, but he's not hoping for a Spain. Now, obviously, I think we're all kind of, you know, in that mindset of thinking Mercedes will get a 1-2 on the grid, obviously, for qualifying for the race. It's probably going to be the same for Brazil and Abu Dhabi also. Yeah. So say if they do that, as I say, the long run into turn 1, could they crash? But if you meet someone down the pub, right, and they say, oh, Mercedes aren't going to crash into each other, Nico and Lewis aren't going to crash into each other, you know, they might be fighting, but they're not going to get, like, you know, they're not going to get kind of rough and tumble, you know, fight to the death. But then, if somebody does say that, you know what you say to them? You say 2 words, or 1 word, and a series of numbers. You say to them, Spain 2016, because obviously there's no way anyone can come back from that. They crashed when we were never expecting that to happen. I mean, Spa 14, that was nout, absolutely nout. Monaco 14, all these little crappy little collisions that they've had. Yeah. Spain 16, do you know what? But anyway, we'll get on. We'll talk about that in the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix review. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think that'll happen, JT, but obviously I like your optimism. We are British, as you said, obviously, so we'd like Lewis Hamilton to win, but it would be great. Nico Rosberg is the perfect winner. He is the louder character. Now, obviously, that's another word that, obviously, a lot of people have been comparing Lewis to James Hunt, but I would like to compare Nico Rosberg to Nicky Lauda. Obviously, he's married, he's very calm, he's very cool, he's very collective. He drives with, I'd say, more of his head than Lewis drives with more of his heart, and, you know, almost like just go for it, really. There's no stopping us. It would be great for Nico to lift the World Championship, whenever that's going to be. Is that going to be this weekend? Is that going to be in Brazil? Or is that going to be in the Twilight Desert race of Abu Dhabi? Well, it has to be in Abu Dhabi. It can't be any later than that.
Oh yeah. Look at Australia.
You know, Australia. Oh, look, Nico, by the way, here's your World Championship from last year. I'm like, I don't want it now. I'm in a new year. You know, come on. But obviously, absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, it's probably so. Obviously, what's going to happen in the race? I mean, it's probably going to be a double Mercedes podium, 1-2. But which way is it going to favour? But the last thing I just want to mention about Mercedes, so JT mentioned it quickly. He just said that obviously Nico Rosberg, if he finishes second, third, and Hamilton wins all the races, he will win. But that's not really what they want. And obviously, again, we're going to go into that in more detail, probably in the F1 debate show at the end of the week. But and obviously the rest of the season. So again, that works out. What is that really? Just Nico Rosberg really want to win on like a technicality, a statistic, statistical error, if you want to say. But we'll get into that in a bit, obviously. So that's the last of Mercedes. You'll have to hear about in their predictions what we think will happen in this race. So the next thing we're going to talk about is Red Bull Racing. Now, obviously, they've been doing an amazing race. They are best of the rest. Max Verstappen. Now, I don't know if this was a joke, but did Max actually win Driver of the Day award? I cannot believe that. Like, I'm stunned. Anyway, obviously he didn't with us. Obviously, we did put it on the channel because, again, obviously we apologise we never got a review out for the United States Grand Prix, but we gave it to Fernando Alonso, obviously a very deserving man, a very deserving winner after he had battled against Carlos Sainz, who again was in contention. Max wasn't in the running, but he was in my top 3, and I think he was very high up on JT's as well. He definitely had a Red Bull on the podium. I don't know if it was Daniel or I don't know if it was Max, but it was, it was definitely going to be high up. Anyway, best of the rest. Ricardo got on the podium with his amazing Texas accent. Got Gerard Butler, the amazing Hollywood actor, obviously been in some amazing films like 300, to do the shoey. This is Formula One! And absolutely unbelievable. I mean, yeah, so obviously, best of the rest from them. I don't think you can have anything else that they'll definitely beat a Red Bull on the podium. But it's getting to the point now where, Daniel and Max are obviously the level pegging now. Max had a win. Daniel finally got a win in Malaysia. And now they are level pegging. What's going to happen now? I think their rivalry is getting quite heated now, JT. A few races ago, they were almost, still friends, obviously. But that's how it started with Nico and Lewis. That's how it started with, Ali and Fraser. So they were both friends to start with. Exactly. So just on Red Bull, I think their rivalry is getting to a point where, again, they might have some Red Bull might have some problems like Mercedes are with them battling each other. Because I've got to say, Max and Daniel, two ruthless drivers, and now that they're level pegging on wins, they're fighting for a second win by the end of the season, or even the supremacy in the 2017 season is definitely getting heated, and we could even see signs of that in this race. Wouldn't you agree? Because Red Bull they're getting close to solid rivals like Nico and Lewis.
Yeah. Exactly. Obviously, absolutely tremendous season, I would say, for Red Bull after a very poor season last season. They've got a very strong team with them in Ricciardo and Verstappen, two very talented drivers, two very quick drivers as well. A lot of promise in Max Verstappen as well. He's had a lot of stick this season, but that is, he's still a rookie at the end of the day. He's still learning his way around, but he's a very talented driver. And the atmosphere around Red Bull is so positive between these two drivers, definitely. But I would think when Red Bull start getting back up there and challenging for the title, then I think this is when we're going to see the real Daniel Ricciardo and the real Max Verstappen, what they're going to be like when they are under the cosh of battling for that World Championship. That is going to be something to see. That would be something really good to actually witness ourselves. As we all know, as like LC said before, friends become enemies when they're battling for something that they really work all their life for, like Rosberg and Hamilton. They were good friends back in the early days, and then all of a sudden, battling for the championship, they hate. Well, I would not necessarily say hate each other, but then aren't really as close as what they used to be. You know what I mean? Like Hamilton famously said, this is business. We are not friends. Back in Monaco 14, so I would say that would be a similar sort of thing. But Max Verstappen winning the Driver of the Day award. Seriously. That is like probably one of the most that's one of like life's mysteries. You know what I mean? Like when people like conspiracy theorists ask them different questions. That should be one of the questions. Why did Max Verstappen win the championship? Win the Driver of the Day award. That is beyond me, but I don't know. But that's how good he is. Max Verstappen can win the Driver of the Day award without even finishing the race. So there's a lot of promise in this guy. I was Daniel Ricciardo P3 as well. Got him to do the shoey. Disgusting, but we live in there and we move on. So the next thing we're going to move on to is Ferrari, who had an absolutely bizarre Grand Prix in the last one. Sebastian Vettel P4, excellent. Kimi Räikkönen, what happened to Kimi Räikkönen in that race? Went in the pits, came out, and there was some sort of problem with his wheel, I think, or the wheel gun was still attached. I don't know what happened. Went up the bank on the pit exit and started rolling back down. Very, very bizarre, I must say. So going into this weekend, strategy-wise, is going to be out the window. The pace isn't going to be there, as always, for Ferrari. But Sebastian Vettel getting one over Kimi Räikkönen as well, who, by the way, was a lot quicker throughout the entire weekend on Sebastian Vettel. So I would say he was lucky that Kimi Räikkönen actually managed to lose out. And also Max Verstappen, when he had that pit stop blunder, if you remember, when he came in the pits, obviously unexpected. Max Verstappen thought Red Bull called him in. He came in, and obviously that cost him a few positions, allowing Sebastian Vettel to then be elevated up into fourth. So I don't think this is going to be the same this weekend, unfortunately. Obviously, Sebastian Vettel I mean, he's under the cosh a little bit of Ferrari because I think contract talks were still on hold with him. The relationship between him and Maurizio Arrivabene, it seems to be not as strong as what it was last season, so there's a lot of trouble going behind the scenes, well, it's building up behind the scenes at Ferrari, which isn't good. So they need to focus for next season. Obviously, I don't think they're going to deliver anything spectacular at the end of this season because, you know, the end of the season, you know, there's nothing really to achieve, you know, there's nothing to win for Ferrari. So, I mean, I think Sebastian Vettel, the highest he can finish is obviously fourth. I don't think he can catch Ricciardo. Even if he can, he won't. You know, that's just me saying it, you know what I mean? But so LC, it seems to be same old Ferrari. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to do well this weekend.
No.
I think Red Bulls are going to outclass them. I think Red Bull are now 50 points ahead of Ferrari in the constructors. I think that third place is more or less theirs. I think they're too far ahead of Williams.
Yeah,
or
that's
Force
right.
India, shall I say, to you know, for Force India actually to make a threat. So Ferrari P3 in the constructors. I think Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen, you know, they've had better seasons, but I think this will be finally there is light at the end of the tunnel for Ferrari at the end of this season because it has been dreadful, unfortunately, hasn't it?
It has to be. I mean, obviously, yeah. As JT said, it's mathematically impossible for Sebastian Vettel to catch Daniel Ricciardo, and it's also mathematically impossible. It's not impossible, but it's looking very unlikely that Ferrari will catch Red Bull in the constructors as well. But I think it's more about the drivers now that we're heading towards the end of the season. Sebastian, he had a terrible race here in Mexico, as you remember last year. Absolutely abysmal by him, but obviously that was other factors. But he was on a high because he had 3 wins. Absolutely unbelievable. He was still living off of Singapore, you know, lusciousness, and even Malaysia and Hungary, because he didn't even expect to win. And any races, I would have said in 2015, obviously brand new in Ferrari. Second race in Ferrari, that is unbelievable. That's almost close to Fernando Alonso winning, obviously, the very first race in 2010 of the season with Ferrari. It's almost incredibly close to that. But Sebastian, I mean, come on, he will be feeling unbelievably just disheartened by that. Kimi Raikkonen, as I say, it was, I think it was 9 years. It's about 9 years, about a week ago, that he actually won his World Championship with Ferrari. Also, Ferrari's last World Championship, which would be feeling unbelievably, I mean, abysmal by that. Abysmal. Absolutely just unbelievable by that. So, Sebastian needs a good race. Kimi also needs a good race. But I've got to say, I think the pressure's not as much on Kimi than it is on Sebastian. I don't know why. I just feel like Sebastian carries more of the Ferrari pressure, also for the team to do well, but also that us as fans, I don't know why, but we expect Sebastian to do a lot better than Kimi Raikkonen. I don't know why. Kimi Raikkonen, obviously very skilled, obviously world champion with Ferrari as well, compared obviously with Sebastian. But he had that somewhere else, some other team that we've never even heard of. He had that somewhere else. But Kimi, won it with Ferrari. But as I say, for some reason we expect Sebastian to do a lot better than Kimi. Sebastian needs a good race, but I don't know where that's going. I've got to say though, Mexico is a very strategic circuit. I mean, it's the tyres that they've got to manage properly. As we know, Mexico, it's a very hot and humid country. The tyre management will definitely play a key in the pit stops. And what's going to happen? This is going to be a safety car, obviously, and now we've got the virtual safety cars, which are now almost. You can't really predict them at all. I mean, obviously, a lot of the time they come out for like the first implication. It's almost like when a primary school teacher sees some pushing on the playground and then goes virtual safety car before a fish flies, and then they go safety car. But then obviously a few pushing is virtual safety car. Virtual safety car comes out just to deal with that. The bell goes, virtual safety car. No, but anyway, we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. I just love saying virtual safety car. That's a fun word to say, that. Virtual safety car is a fun word to say. Anyway, so yeah, that's not much. You can't say much about Ferrari. I don't even know what will happen to them. You'll have to hear in our predictions what we think, but what will happen to Sebastian? I mean, he is almost self-destruction. Yes, he's in talks with signing again for Ferrari, but there's a possibility, there's every possibility they could do everything else. He's probably not looking like he's going to return to Red Bull, because obviously they're very happy with Max and Daniel. But I've got to say though, I mean, it's incredibly stupid. Just imagine if Seb is knocking at the door to Christian Horner going, "Can I have my drive back, please?" And then Christian goes, "No, we're happy with our double non-world champions." You know, it's a bit like, what do I do now? But obviously we'll have to keep that for the silly season, with the next silly season that comes out. Which obviously, we'll have to see what happens in that, because it's just absolutely messed up completely. Anyway, so the next team that we're going to move on to is Force India. Now, the first driver we're going to talk about is Sergio Perez, the man at home. I mean, as I said to JT and as I said to you guys, he is on the time of his life. He really, really is. I could cry for this man. He's the prodigy. He really, really is. Obviously, come from Mexico. He's a very religious person. He is the prodigy. Yeah. He is the second coming, really. He's in the time of his life. He is driving for a team that is doing incredibly well. He has finally found his home. Okay, he went to Sauber. He did a good season at Sauber. Then he went to McLaren, didn't do very well. Came to Force India, had a few horrible years with Force India, but now he is there. He is happy. I am so happy for this man. But then his teammate, Nico Hülkenberg, does anyone really like Nico anymore? After he was, ran to Renault for some reason that, I mean, we can't just say it's all money, because obviously we know that it might not be for some Hülkenberg lovers out there. We've got to say it's not money. We have to say that. Keep everyone happy. It's not money.
Not money. Sort of.
Right. It is money. It isn't money. I meant to say it is money. It is money. I meant to say that. It isn't money. It is money. I mean, it is money. It is money. Okay. JT, it is money. I mean, it is money. Okay, that's it. It is money. Okay, let's just leave it at it is money. Okay, it is money. Right. So obviously Hülkenberg, for some reason, went to Renault, but I mean, they are doing so well. But as a constructor, though, Force India are on top. Mercedes power, Mercedes are dominating. As you know, the engine supply is really, really strong. Sergio Perez, I think even if he was driving a man, even if he was running the circuit, the inspiration that he will have, knowing that he is on the time of his life, and also he is in front of his home crowd, will give him enough to maybe even sneak onto the podium, and maybe even win Driver of the Day award for the third time, and obviously then take the lead of the drivers who have won the Driver of the Day award for the third time, which currently a lot of people are on 2. Who is going to be the first driver on 3? So JT, Sergio Perez, Nico Hülkenberg and Force India. How do you reckon these drivers and the team will do in Mexico?
I think, Perez is going to do superbly this weekend if his car, keeps him going, let's say. I mean, the support, obviously, the Mexicans will bring for Sergio Perez will be absolutely fantastic. He will love that support. And yes, Elsie, I can see Sergio Perez on that podium. Imagine the crowd when he steps on them. And in third place, it's Sahara Force India driver, Sergio Perez. Oh, and the crowd will go mental. Because we've seen the crowd last year, and there was no Mexican on the podium. It was amazing what the Mexicans brought to that Grand Prix. I wasn't expecting it, to be fair. It was like the South American Tifosi. That honestly, they were amazing. If nobody has seen any footage or anything of last year's podium, go and watch it. It was fantastic. So imagine what they're going to be like when Sergio Perez steps out on that podium, or if he steps out on that podium. His teammate, on the other hand, Nico Hülkenberg, obviously going to Renault for reasons we're not going to discuss because we don't exactly want to cause World War III. But we do know that Sergio Perez was actually approached by Renault. He said no. Well, he didn't say no. His backers said no. Said that he's better off at Force India to get more money in their pocket. That's what I've learned this week. So that is, and then obviously they approached Hülkenberg, and Hülkenberg's decided to go. All right, I'll go to Renault for obviously to pursue my career in Formula 1.
Yes.
That is something we're going to say. That is something that we're going to say. But obviously the Nico Hülkenberg finished. I think it was P. What was it? P. What did he finish? What did he finish in the American Grand Prix?
I don't know.
He retired towards the end. That was right.
Well, there we go.
I mean, obviously, I'm not saying anything about that. He retired. He retired at the start because he had a collision. So that's that. You get what you deserve, Nico Hülkenberg. Unfortunately, obviously that's going to be Nico Hülkenberg. Obviously, Sergio Perez finishing 8th this weekend. Perez is going to be a lot stronger than Nico Hülkenberg. Nico Hülkenberg his season's over in his head. That's it. Nico Hülkenberg gone. See you later. Wash your hands. I'm done with Force India. Perez wants to develop this car. He's going to develop into 2017, become a stronger driver in a stronger car. Things are looking up for Sergio Perez. Definitely. So next thing we're going to move on to is Williams, who are in the middle of a bit of a transfer situation right now because Lance Stroll, he hasn't been confirmed yet. It's so frustrating. It's like when Alonso was going to McLaren the second time around. We knew he was going. We knew. Not like Sebastian Vettel. Oh, I'm going to Ferrari. All right, what? Where did that come from? You know what I mean? So it is only a matter of time. So they've got that to think about. Massa, obviously. He's drifting away. He's not going to any other team now. So he's going to try and help the team as much as he can, as like an ambassador type of thing. Bottas, not officially signed yet, but it's more or less likely he's going to be at Williams next season. Again, he was linked with Renault. He's also linked with Force India. There's rumours going about that he's not going to go there, so he's going to stay with Williams. But apparently he has signed another year's contract. I don't know what's going on really. Anything can happen as we've seen this season. So don't quote me on that. But obviously, as we say in every preview, it's been a shocking season for Williams, left, right, and centre. Force India have always been the team, to beat them, whenever they're up against each other. The same engine as well. So that there is no excuse that we've got the Renault engine or we've got the Ferrari engine, not as quick as Mercedes. They've both got Mercedes power. So I don't think it's going to be a good weekend for Williams this weekend. LC. What do you think? Do you think maybe Williams can maybe go right? We've got 3 races left. Let's see if we can actually overtake the Force India. That's going to be a challenge. Let's knuckle down. Let's see what we can do. Look in the next season. Or they're going to go, we've lost.
See, I'm not sure about Williams. I really am not. I don't know where to place them at the moment. I mean, obviously, Felipe Massa, he's fighting so much. But Valtteri Bottas, I mean, he's really slipped down in the last few races. He went from being at the top, and obviously, Valtteri Bottas, he's one of these prodigies. He's a bit like me and Esteban Ocon. I watch him and I think, right, this is going to be a guy who's going to rise to stardom, and I need to watch him incredibly close. But Valtteri's just dropped off so much. And again, Williams as well. I mean, what is happening to them? Which is a real shame as well, because obviously, Williams, just another British team to let us down. Really, it's a shame. What are they doing? They've lost this battle with Force India. I would say that they have. Watch it get round to Abu Dhabi, and unfortunately they'll have lost, which I hope is not the case. Because I mean, if there's going to be any redemption, it needs to be in this race. Then obviously the last chance saloon is Brazil, because obviously when they get to the twilight race, if Force India are ahead, that's going to be the boost. It's almost going to be like it's almost going to be like in the Tour de France. The celebrations happen at the end of the penultimate stage. Going into Paris is almost like just a roll out to say, yes, we've done it. I know. You have a bit of champagne. It's all good fun. And I'm not saying that'll be that for every team, especially the World Drivers' Championship. It might be like that, might be. But obviously, for them, if Force India finish Brazil and go, yes, we have beaten Williams, they might roll in Abu Dhabi and think, right, okay, we're going to give it hell for leather. But I mean, come on, we've almost got this in the bag, and it's going to be incredibly special for them. I'm so excited to see what Force India can do. But Williams, on the other hand, I'm sorry, Williams, but I can't count much for that. You had an okay race in, obviously, the US. Not amazing, but really, I don't think there's anything left for you, apart from, obviously, the only thing that you can really live on is, obviously, Felipe Massa's home race and obviously home race as well, a last home race for him in Brazil. And then also remember, obviously, Felipe's 300th Grand Prix and last Grand Prix in Formula 1, which is Abu Dhabi, but that's a few races time. So Mexico, I don't know much about them really. I can't count much. So anyway, that was Williams, and there's not really much to say about the other teams on the grid. Obviously, we do hope they have an amazing race. Obviously, the next team is Toro Rosso, the next team McLaren, and things like that, all the way moving down. We're going to make a few honourable mentions of people that are going through. Obviously, well done to Carlos Sainz, an amazing race, as you said, amazing battle with Fernando Alonso. Daniel Kvyat's just been signed, which is amazing, but the biggest driver that me and JT really want to talk about, just to end this preview, is Haas driver Esteban Gutierrez. Of course, we are doing this because he is a Mexican driver. This is his home race. It's his first home race because, as I say, he wasn't there last year, or he was as a Ferrari test driver, but he won't have actually been on the grid, apart from maybe the grid walk, and also as well because of the bummer that he had at the United States Grand Prix, the team's home race. Now, they had an abysmal race. It wasn't very good for Haas in the States. Come on, what happened to you guys with the state, with the was obviously the red, white and blue on your car, and you kind of red, white and blew it with the chances of winning the race or something like that. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. So anyway, Esteban Gutierrez not doing very, very, very well. He's not really in the fight at all. So JT, I mean, Esteban Gutierrez, just because it's his home race, what do you think that can do? Do you think that can inspire him to do better? Or do you think, though, that it's almost like Esteban's fate is almost completely in the hands of Gene Haas and the crew from America, and obviously their car, which reliable, unreliable, but it's somewhere in between, but it's hard to put a number on where it is, isn't it?
He's still fighting for his place at Haas, and obviously he hasn't scored any points. Best finish is 11th, I think, on 3 occasions, I believe, so, not where he wanted to be compared to Romain Grosjean. This weekend, though, he's going to have so much support, so much, upbeat. It's his first home race. Obviously, the first time the Mexican Grand Prix has been on the calendar when he's been on. Last time he was on, 2013, 2014, it wasn't there. So, again, it'll be good for Rosberg. It'll be good for Gutierrez. And it'll also be good for Haas as well, because that means they'll be able to get some good sponsorships at the American Grand Prix, their home race. Now, it's Esteban Gutierrez's home race, so all the attention is going to be on there, which means they're going to have a few little sponsors here and there on the car, perhaps maybe on Gutierrez, and also invest some more money. So positive vibes all around. I hope he has a good. I honestly hope he does score some points this weekend. Roman Grosjean scored a point eventually, which was like the first point in like last season, probably. I don't know, or maybe like all the way back in Bahrain. But I hope Gutierrez does score some points. Maybe make his way up the grid as well, up the tables. Maybe have a positive end of the season, and maybe show Gene Haas that he has got what it takes to take this team forward, and maybe have some success. I mean, don't you agree, Elsie? Do you think Gutierrez now needs to prove what he's worth at Haas, and especially at this Grand Prix?
Yeah.
What do you think? Yes?
Yes, definitely. JT, nobody is signed for Haas. Obviously, Roman Grosjean is still talking over his contract, but it's looking like Roman's going to be signed for next year. Esteban needs to fight. Is he worth that seat? And he needs to prove it. It's his home race. He's going to get so much support from the team. I think if you talk to Gene Haas now, he would say that he would give his right arm for Esteban Gutierrez to finish in the points at his home race. All of his crowd, all of his home support, absolutely unbelievable. A lot of them make the trek up to Austin, but now they can watch Esteban Gutierrez fight it out against another Mexican in that crowd. As you said, JT, an amazing analogy from that. They are the Trifosi of the South. It's absolutely unbelievable. The crowd is amazing from there. Esteban, I would love you to do well. I'd love Haas to do well. You come on, you need to do well. You're getting beat by Stoffel Van Dorn.
He's one race.
Who isn't even in Formula 1.
Oh my word!
I know it's really not very good, but obviously we're now going to end the show. But first, we've got to do the all-important JT. What is your predictions for the 2016 Mexican Grand Prix? So, who will be standing with the three sombreros in front of that baseball stadium?
I'm going to say winner at Rosberg. Winner at Rosberg. Second place, Lewis Hamilton. Third place, Checo. Definitely. I think Checo will get on the podium.
That's a good one.
It's not very often I do say Perez on the podium, but he's done it before this season, and I think he will do it this weekend.
Yep.
He's got the car, he's got the ability, he's got the support now. Sergio Perez, watch this space, guys. Watch this space. So, LC, that's my top three. What is your top three?
Right, my top three will be Nico Rosberg, obviously, to take the win. Now, Hamilton needs to get on the podium, so unfortunately I'm going to say Hamilton second. Sorry, I didn't mean unfortunately. I just meant, obviously, that only leaves one space. Who will take that? I'm going to play it safe, JT, and I'm going to say the man who will be taking that spot will be the man who will be doing the shoey with whoever's doing the punditry on the podium, and that will be Daniel Ricciardo. I've got to play it safe. The 1, 2, 3, the same as well, not the same, sorry, but the same three drives as what it was in America. So that is it for the trip down south to Mexico. So anyway, that's the end of our preview. Thank you very much for watching this very long episode. Please catch us in our next episode, which is the F1 Debate Show, which is our Halloween special, and then after that, the review of the Mexican Grand Prix, which unfortunately I will not be in. Now JT will have to confirm whether he'll be doing the show. Yes. Showing the review. Yeah, he will. Yeah, but obviously, unfortunately, guys, I will not be in that. So that's just a heads up from me. I do apologise. I do have work commitments, but yeah, I will definitely see you, obviously, in the debate show, and then obviously for the next race, the penultimate round, which is Brazil.
Wow. The penultimate round, guys. Oh my word!
Guys, I thought we were still in Australia. I mean, what's going on here?
I wish.
Wow. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching this, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.
See you later, guys. Take care.